non-believing people.
Right.
It's totally different. But the Christian world has this high calling because they're tied to, as you mentioned, to the Jewish people, and they're tied to the salvation of the Jewish people. How that works itself out and what that all means, we can talk about that after. I have my own thoughts, on what that looks like and what that means. But there's this high calling, and to be quite frank, I'm just going to be open and honest, I believe that, and I know this, Ricky Love taught on it.
Yep.
Everyone know
Yep,
Ricky Love.
Yep.
He taught on it. He went to, I forget in Kentucky,
he went to Liberty.
What's it called?
Liberty
No, he went to
College.
Liberty,
He went to
that's
Liberty
here, but this
No, he went to
seminary, this
Kentucky.
this Baptist, top-notch seminary in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He came back to Berkeley Baptist and gave this message on, an evangelism. And, 60% of all graduating seminarians, if that's a word.
We call them cemeterians.
Whatever,
Yeah,
right.
we'll
Yeah, right. I have a BS in theology.
Yeah, that's it.
60% like stay in the United States, and that right. Whatever 30% go, to the to South America, wherever they go. It was less than 1%. Less than 1% goes to the Jewish people to, for lack of a different word, witness to the Jewish people, because it's hard, it's difficult, it ain't easy.
It's
No.
hard
so-
as a Jew witnessing to the Jew.
It's even harder actually for
Yeah.
a Jewish
Much harder.
person to do it. It's more built on relationship, a whole nother story.
Right.
Because for a Jewish person, we expect non-Jews to believe in something other than what we believe in. It's okay if they speak of it. But I'm saying this all to say that the Romans 11, I believe, as I mentioned, definitely there's a veil over the Jewish people's eyes.
Yeah.
But I believe, too, that there's a veil over the Christian community
Yes.
in a lot of areas, having specifically to do with the Jewish people.
Yes.
I don't know if it's out of, just again, we're going in a whole different direction, but this is good to just talk about it, because there's something out there, there's a calling, and I think there's, between the Messianic Jewish movement and the Christian church, we're definitely building those bridges and
Coming together.
mending
Yes.
those
Coming
bridges.
together, yes.
And the conversation started out as, why don't Jewish people believe? And it has to do with what you said, history. It has to do with history. It has to do with a lot of the history of the church itself and things that have transpired. And it's yet again a whole nother conversation. But I'd love to talk about
I wish we
Romans
had
11.
time.
Right. So